back at the ATA. Boom. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so we're on the Weapons Ready podcast. I know you're probably not familiar with that, but that's fine. We will fix that.
Okay.
I'll fix that later. Not right now, though. Okay. I don't need to explain what we're doing here.
Gotcha.
So you are the commander of the 29th Weapon Squadron.
Yep. Yeah, home of the C-130 Weapons Instructor Course and Advanced Instructor Course for Loadmasters.
Yes, the loads. Well, we'll talk about everybody here, but the Loadmasters are absolutely crushing it. Your guys out there, Coach.
Absolutely.
They are phenomenal. They also like to take pictures whenever people are in the back, not feeling that well.
Yeah.
Maybe getting a little air sick.
It happens. Happens to the best of us speeches.
It does happen. and then those pictures get propagated around. But
if it's a picture, it's a truth data.
I know, it is truth data.
We're talking about truth data and debrief.
Yeah. No, so what's the 29th getting after these days?
So all kinds of stuff. We still have our core, blocking and tackling things we have to do, like develop C-130, experts, both the front end and the back end of the airplane. So we spend about a third of the course doing that. But we're really getting after integration right now. So going out and working with different users, fighters, bombers, ground users. We first started working with the Marines this class, which it's not that different than working with the Army, but the Marines typically have their own air power and used to doing things a certain way. So it's a good learning curve for us as well. But also getting after emerging capabilities, Rapid Dragon, palletized munitions, things along those lines that are still a little in the ways in the future in terms of like fielding it, but the weapons school, of course, is on the forefront trying to develop those TTPs, expose our graduates in a controlled environment so when they get to the field, they're ready to go.
Yeah, that's one of the things about some of the emerging capabilities that you guys have, especially as the Mobility Air Force, is it's no longer just fuel, it's no longer just cargo movement. Every C-130, every C-17, every KC-135, KC-46 has a multitude of different missions it can. You brought one up, the Rapid Dragon, and I know that we're on unclassified and that kind of stuff. So, what can you dive into just a wave top of what that kind of is?
Yeah. So, Rapid Dragon is basically the ability to airdrop something out of the back of the airplane that's not just providing a logistics support. It can provide some sort of an effect. That could be a munition, that could be a electronic warfare platform, something along those lines. And the whole idea is that the bombers and the folks that ordinarily do those types of things, they're tapped out just like everybody else. And the idea is that we can present a dilemma to the adversary to not know what that C-130, that C-17, that whatever platform it is, what they're up to. So they have to make difficult choices in their courses of action.
So I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I love talking about the 29th, but the 29th gets a lot of love from me because I've got time on C-130s. So
we appreciate that.
Yeah, but and you as a squadron commander, you kind of see a massive swath of skill sets, officers and enlisted, but I'm trying to get after maybe some of the mistakes that you have seen kind of young officers make. And then on the counterpart of that, I'd like to hit some of the things that you're like, man, our young officers or our young enlisted are really doing great things. So starting off with some of the common mistakes.
So common mistakes, number one is not recognizing how invested in how, like the skills that somebody has. Like they let their rank, their position, their wherever they're at in life, hold them back unnecessarily. It's still the military, there's still rank involved and things, but like our young folks are the smartest they ever were when they left high school. The officers that went to college, they were the best of the best to get, not even like just to get there and graduate at the academy or wherever, but then to go to pilot training and then show up. So I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, this willingness to step up when we see those skills.
Yeah, they are for sure the smartest, the best trained. They're far more trained early on in their career than we were.
Oh, very much so. Yep. I tell every incoming class that the folks that are showing up on day one of the weapons school are about as good as I was halfway to 2/3 of the way through the course in 2015. So, and that's just a testament to the organization getting it right, but then also our graduates out in the field better preparing.
Yeah, those tier 1 patches are definitely putting in the work to make sure that not just the CAF, but the Mobility Air Force, Global Strike, the BAF, they are all ready to go for. I mean, we're prepping for the worst, right? Because we've got to. If we're ready for the worst, anything that's half of that, we'll be fine. It may be a slightly different problem, but as long as it's not as hard or as difficult as that one problem, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I'm a big sports guy, so like practice should be harder than the game. You should get to the game and be like, I've seen this, I know what the other side's going to do, and I've already got my move picked out of how we're going to do that. So
exactly, you fight the way you train. Yep. Absolutely. So what are some of the positive things that you've seen coming out of our young officers and young enlisted?
So the creativity. Obviously probably talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but with the previous comment about weaknesses, but like General Minahan and the Air Force and the Joint Force in general has really opened up the aperture on like innovation, things along those lines. So folks that come in and they ask questions, they want to know the why, and I think that's part of just younger people these days. But they're not just a bunch of punks out there. They're asking questions because they want to understand and make things better. So the creativity to see things from a different lens than folks our age do.
No, I agree. Some people can get, and not just in the Air Force. I think some people, maybe our generation, maybe a little bit older, definitely get a little frustrated with the why. But if we can truly explain the why and help people understand the why, one, that shows that we understand why we're actually doing it, and it's not just that's the way we've always done it. But also that creativity piece, I think, is huge, because now it's like, now that I can kind of define the problem better and understand the problem better, now I can take some of these other variables that exist and kind of plug them in as needed to essentially come up with a better solution.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's I see that almost on a daily basis with folks just getting after tough problems.
Yeah, no, that's great. So just in the interest of not taking up your time while you're having a good time at ATA, this is good? Yeah, you want to keep going? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up the time. That's why. So one thing that I'd like to know is, we talked about the negative, the positive, but what would be, because our demographic, again, I know you're not familiar with the podcast, but our demographic is kind of 15 to 25, maybe 30-year-olds that are interested in joining the Air Force. Some of them are ROTC in high school, some of them are ROTC in college. We got some academy grads, but what kind of advice would you give to those coming in that maybe want to kind of follow in the C-130, the Herc Nation kind of footsteps, or even if it's not in the Herc Nation, just in general?
Just don't hold yourself back. There's if you see something that you recognize that you have a solution for, do it. Like the military and like there's not enough resources and people out there to solve every problem that's out there. Like if you're in the right place and you've got the authority and like the resources to fix something, just do it, and tell your boss later that you did it. Like the help is not necessarily coming from the staff. That's just where it's at, where we're at right now. So don't look for someone else to solve your problems. If you get in the right place, get the resources, just solve it, and that's going to highlight you in a positive way to your superiors, and only make things better for the folks around you as well.
No, I love that, because we talk about intent or commander's intent and stuff like that, but oftentimes we don't necessarily empower the. I typically use Air Force instructions as a point of departure.
Yes.
Hey, these are guidelines. This is the left and right limits, and now I know where to go and take it even farther. Mitigate risk where I can, so don't take unnecessary risk.
Don't want to be reckless.
Yeah, not reckless, but I'll never advance if I don't take risks, and we've got to blast that out to the masses. As long as the folks are properly trained, properly qualified, we may trade a little paint. We might. If the lighting is poor, something like that, we may trade some paint. That's all fine. We can't burn anybody down for that. unless it was negligence
Yep.
or something like that. But
Because as soon as you do, you discourage anybody else from trying things.
Yeah.
When you, like, to go back to the sports analogy, you don't build muscle without tearing muscle fiber. Like that's just how it works. Sometimes you gotta break a little bit to recognize where you're at and what you need to do to move forward.
no, exactly. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about General Minahan. From the moment he took over for Air Mobility Command, he has been that kind of fangs out commander that has been all about getting it. Colonel Lahosky of the Weapon School was the same way. Colonel Fallon now is the same way. And before you, Egon, was out there doing it, you're in the seat now doing it. And I know Zena's here from the 509th. She's definitely getting after it.
Very much so.
She is very aggressive. So, it's great, and we need that because it's the only way that our Air Force is going to advance.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave it at that then.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I
Bridges.
appreciate
Thanks
you
for having
joining.
me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.